My name is Amol Nirgadkar. I'm the CEO of Patient Prism, and I'm delighted to welcome Kevin Henry in our studios this morning. And Kevin's been a celebrity in the dental in space. He's one of the top followed Twitter industry experts in this industry. And he's done a lot over the last 10 years in promoting the cause of dental assistants and empowering them to kind of find their true passion in dentistry. And his book, Battling the Demons of Dental Assistance, has come out, and it's wonderful. So one of the questions I have for you, Kevin, this morning is, what role does a dental assistant play in case acceptance? We know case acceptance is a big pain point across all dental practices. And how have you thought about that?
Well, and you're right. It's a huge pain point. And one of the things that I learned when I was the editor of Dental Economics is that dental practices need to be run as businesses. And every employee of that business needs to be empowered to do as much as he can or she can to bring value to the bottom line.
Sure.
And when it comes to case acceptance, we all know that we like to have things reinforced in our heads as consumers.
Sure.
We like to know that we're doing the right thing. And so often patients want to know that if you're prescribing a crown,
Sure.
that you're not just doing it because you need a boat payment or your kid has a college payment coming up,
Right.
that it's really the right thing. And so often you as the dentist will walk out of the room after prescribing a crown, and the patient will turn to the assistant and say, "What do you think?" And at that point, it is so important that the assistant has the clinical skills and, dare I say, the sales skills to actually talk to the patient and reinforce, yes, Dr. Jones would not have prescribed that crown to you if he or she didn't have your best interests in mind. As we showed you in the x-ray, there is a crack here. Things like this where you can reinforce to that patient that you have their best interest in mind,
Sure.
and that you are conscious of their resources and time, and that you wouldn't just be doing this just to do it. So I think it's so important that dental assistants are, first of all, empowered by their dentists
Sure.
to talk about this,
Sure.
but also have some of that training. Know your sales skills, know your clinical skills, have that background and that confidence in yourself to say, yes, you do need the crown, here's why, and we're the best place for you to have that done.
And how do you get them? Where have you seen dental assistants go to get this training and education?
Well, a lot of times it actually comes from within themselves.
Okay.
A lot of times it comes from the dentist saying, I have faith in you, I believe in you, you're a vital part of this, and just hearing those words sometimes will give the assistant so much confidence. But also, I know, go to local meetings, listen to communication speakers, read those articles that come into your practice, get some tips. There's all sorts of resources out there. Obviously, Patient Prism has this great academy.
Right.
Learn where you can, and then focus on where your strengths are as well as your weaknesses. And if you don't feel confident in selling or in backing up your dentist, really dig down and find out why. What is it that is holding you back? And even talk to your dentist about that, because the worst thing that can happen is that the patient senses hesitation in your voice.
One of the things you've talked about in your talks in the past is dental assistants have amazing amount of empathy.
They do.
And we talk about empathy a lot at Patient Prism because that's one of the most important factors we believe in converting that patient from a caller into an appointment.
Yes.
Right? So now we're talking about when we're converting that patient from a person who has not accepted treatment to one who has, empathy again becomes very important.
It does.
And so why do you think dental assistants have more empathy? And why are they suited to do that job more?
I honestly think a lot of times they are seen as equals by the patients.
Okay.
They are seen as people who have their best interests at heart, and so often they are seen as the people that can be trusted.
Sure.
And I'm not saying anything bad about the dentist or the hygienist or anybody else, but they're often the first person maybe to have that interaction with the patient, and also the last one before they walk up to the front.
Sure.
And so the empathy, I think, is a little bit built in. Plus, we know that assistants aren't doing this to get rich. There's no assistants out there that are going out on their yacht tonight. It's more about they love their patients, and I think so often that just shows in conversation.
Well, that's very interesting because we've seen this across, right? I think the journey of the patient we talk about at Patient Prism a lot is very crucial, and the conversations that the patient has with every team member
Yes.
Becomes important. Now the dental assistant not apparently, but for sure we know spends the most amount of time
Oh yeah, absolutely.
with the patient. And since they have, if you're spending 50% of the time of the patient, then you have a lot more to offer to the patient.
You do.
Than even a dentist or an hygienist.
And you're building that relationship. You know, so often we talk about the patient coming in to see the dentist, but a lot of times they are actually building that relationship with the assistant, like you just mentioned. And that's why it's so important that that patient has trust in the assistant, because really they are the mouthpiece, the arms, and the heart of the practice in so many ways.
I mean, this is absolutely fascinating, and would love to explore this more with you as you do more courses with us. But I think I've always said this in my talks before, is it's really important to empower the entire team. And you cannot just have a LeBron James and win the championship as we saw last time. Right?
Absolutely.
You need an entire team that's supporting you to kind of win the game.
Yes.
And winning the game means not just making money for the dentist or the practice, but also winning for the patient.
Absolutely.
And if you have to believe that by giving them the treatment that they need and deserve, you're actually, promoting their well-being.
Yes.
And it's good for everybody. So I appreciate this conversation, and we'll continue to discuss more. I think dental assistants can definitely be the missing link in terms of improving case acceptance. So
Agreed.
thank you for this conversation, and we'll discuss more. Thank
Looking
you.
forward to it.
Thank you.